Hi, Gemini. This reading is for the Gemini zodiac sign. If you would, please take a moment to see where Gemini is in your chart so that you can apply these messages to where they are most helpful for you. You don't need to, though. If they resonate, they resonate. If they don't, they don't. Also, thank you for commenting, liking, and subscribing. It helps with YouTube promoting the channel. And thank you for everybody who's purchased the book I wrote. It's called The Scribe and the Star, Chapter 1 on Amazon. And thank you for all of the donations you make. They really help. Now let's see what you need to know, Gemini. Geo, the slow, wanted to turn over. So take a moment and wiggle your toes. And take a deep breath. Everything's okay. There's no rush for you to be anywhere or do anything. You are safe. You are warm. You are in your home. That's a footer. Gemini, there is a situation in your life that you're trying to detach from, but it keeps... There's a situation in your life you're trying to lift your feet up off of, but the situation in your life keeps turning around and, like, you keep having to put your feet back up in a different way. It's reminding me of a mother trying to find a moment to relax, and all her kids are messing with her and being like, Mom, Mom, Mom. And Mom's like, just leave me alone. There's Geo the slow again coming out. Mom, 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 I'm busy. Mom, Mom, I'm busy. Mom, shh. Mom, what? I love you. That's what this feels like. The sense of an overwhelmed person being spread too thin because there's a lot of people that want what you have. 13, very unique. 6, balanced, in connection with the divine. 7, back to number 6, balanced. The advice here is for you to get yourself balanced, because you're about to have a really busy day that you're going to feel like things are being turned. I'm sorry, Gemini. I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at this energy. It literally feels like a frazzled parent trying to get away from like their 20 kids all at once. There's another energy here of it could be the same person, it could be someone else, but it's someone who has an issue with self-confidence, and the universe, God, has been turning your world upside down over and over. And I just heard the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air song in my mind. This is a story of how your life got turned upside down. I'm so sorry for laughing at you. I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at this energy representing what you're supposed to be, what you're going through, but it's not what you're going through because you're perceiving it in an incorrect way. It's like the universe trying to sing you a song to lead you towards the next phase of your life. And you're sitting there like, will you guys just shut up? I'm trying to get some sleep. Like, look at the hand gesture. to these, like, will you little wiggly things be quiet? I'm trying to sleep here. I got this one bubble of peace left and I'm trying to sleep. And then the universe is like, do, 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 do. And you're trying to detach yourself from it and, be off in your ethers and fly around and do whatever, get all the things done. And then the universe turns the sky into the ground and puts you back on, solid ground to say, pay attention to what's around you. And when you pay attention to what's around you, you hear the call of the universe again. And you're like, nope, can't do it. I'm busy. I got all this stuff to do. So the universe turns everything up around again to make you ungrounded so that you can see how to ground yourself properly. But it's like you've missed the point. Because I feel like I've missed the point. It's such a hectically busy soccer mom energy. I just want to give you a hug, whoever you are watching this, because this is. I keep seeing in my mind's eye the image of somebody who's like trying to drink a cup of coffee and their hair is frazzled with like rollers in their hair, and they got 1,000 kids like yanking at them at their clothes and their bathrobe. And this person was like, will you just let me drink this cup of coffee, please? And all the kids are like, no. For those of you without kids and without responsibilities, the message the message is to listen to your inner guidance, because there are outside forces interfering with what you know to be doing for yourself. And some of you could be dealing with issues on the right side of your body near your hip. If you are, maybe check it out with a doctor, but I wouldn't really be worried about it. It just seems like something nuisancey, like you kind of need more water. This is the simplest and cutest reading I've done in a very long time, especially for Geminis. Gemini, you're being called to move forward in your life, regardless of how much crap you've been holding on to, or how many people are trying to mess with you, or how many people you're messing with, or how much your twin is messing with you. It's so mysterious. I'm being asked not to share too much with you on this topic because you're supposed to figure it out for yourself. But the levity of this reading tells me that what you're going through is much, 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 much less intense than you think it is. And once you see the humor in it, you'll be able to move through it more gracefully. There is also a warning here for someone, or maybe a few someones, regarding waiting to communicate when you know you should be communicating already. And the longer you wait to communicate something to someone, the farther away they're getting from you. Not really sure what or who that's for, but if you're getting the nudge inside you to do something, like a call inside you to call someone or to reconnect with someone from your past, do not allow what other people say to influence your choices, because the simple fact that you're looking back at something or someone means that you should be listening to yourself and not other people regarding what you should do with that certain someone. Gemini, there's a really deep sense of some pain you've been hiding, but you've been downplaying that pain, but it's actually something that needs your attention. I don't know if it's physical pain, like a dis-ease of some kind, a trauma you've avoided dealing with, or something you haven't said yet that you've been like bottling up. It's time to speak it, because the version of you that you are, your higher self wouldn't keep their mouth shut. Your higher self wouldn't take other people's advice on what to do with your love life. Your higher self trusts itself. It it doesn't uh, go to someone else's higher self and say, "What should I do?" You know, that's what we do here, because we can't really connect that deeply with our intuition most of the time because of the way this world is designed. That's why it's designed that way, so that we can break through those boundaries to connect with our intuition properly. And the situations in your life you've been going through, from separations to financial issues to physical issues, have all been there for the same reason. No matter which note is played, it's still being played on the same instrument, which is your body. And your body is desiring something that you're not giving it because someone told you that, you know, that expression, oh, it's an ex, leave them in the past. But maybe you guys were exes because of some people's interference in your life. Or maybe you guys were exes because you had to separate to come back together again later. Maybe you were exes because one person wasn't mature enough and the other one was, and they separated to create more growth in one person and more trust in the other. It could be lots of different situations, and we can flip it around with the topsy-turvy in a lot of different ways. The core of it remains the same: ungroundedness, being asked to slow down and to allow the initiation into the next phase of your life to continue, which requires you to trust yourself, your own intuition. Gemini, if something bothers you, never keep your mouth shut about it. You don't have to be a bitch about it or an a-hole, but don't keep your mouth shut about what hurts you. The presence of the divine feminine. At the center of everything there is light, and I am that light. You are that light. Shekinah. If you're going to other people for their light, how are you ever going to learn what your light is doing? Or how your light can lead the way for others? Sarada Devi, the Divine Mother. Unconditional love exists within me. The presence of love is the absence of judgment. This card is about judgment of the self and your things you're embarrassed about. Could be things on your body, could be things about your mind, could be like, bad breath or something. I don't know. It could be something small, could be something big. But it's only there because there is no self-love in that part of your body. It's kind of like somebody having like notice how she doesn't look like she has hair, like it's been cut weird, right? You can judge that, or you can accept it. You can play victim to it, or you can rock it. So the choice here is you can look at it however you want, but the path ahead is to be the path that you're being initiated on is that of intuition, which means when you're looking at yourself, remove judgment and look at yourself with unconditional love. If you looked at yourself like a character in a book, your flaws and everything, would you judge that character? But we judge ourselves, right? So how can we expect to hear the call of true love, or for someone to move towards that call that we're making, 6-6, when deep down inside, we're making that call because we want someone to take that thing away from us, someone to heal us, when we're supposed to be healing ourselves. And true healing comes only after true self-acceptance. It's like fighting a disease. When you fight a disease, you create resistance, which fuels the disease, because you're saying, I don't want this disease thing, whether it's cancer or whether it's an addiction or whether it's an ex, whether it's a job you don't like. The more you feed it that energy of not wanting it, the more that thing gets in your presence and says, this is what you don't want, right? So let's get you some advice cards on this that will really clarify this for you in a way where you... This card has come up in almost every reading I've done today. In reverse, people are laying down the pointless fucking battle of beating themselves up over what other people deem to be good or bad. This came up in the Aquarius reading, I think it was, with the Hierophant in reverse. Humanity is simply getting really fucking tired of dealing with what society tells them is proper or not. Like I was saying earlier, it's about people, like some people say, oh, you shouldn't go back to exes or exes for a reason. Well, maybe your exes were exes for a reason. Maybe that person's ex was an ex because the divine split them up so they could learn something being separate. Maybe, you lost that job because you really didn't want it, but you've been feeling bad about it because you lost a job, because other people tell you it's bad to be jobless. Like they're not living your life. They're not living your life path. They don't have your fingerprints. They don't have your destiny. It's not their birthright to have what you are destined to have. So do not let other people's judgment or opinions influence what you do with your strength and your capability. It's not their place. This person isn't even juggling with what mankind made. This person is juggling with what God put in front of them. So when other people say, why aren't you focused on your money? Bitch, because I'm dealing with this fucking infinity serpent. Why aren't you dealing with the serpent? Because you're dealing with the money. So that's that path, right? If this snake is like a terrible best friend and someone's pushing pushing them out of their life, and then someone else walks up and says, hey, why are you fighting that snake trying to eat its own tail when you can be focused on this? Because the snake was probably coming to take those, and you have to get up and defend your ground instead of focusing on that. But the other people around you don't know what you went through prior to this moment, this Polaroid picture, right? They don't know, and they don't know what happens afterwards because most won't stick around to find out. So do not allow other people to decide for you what you do with your body. The only things we can decide are what we do, not what other people do. I mean, gosh golly, that guy on that tree can go up there and sit and live on that tree, and these two will be sitting there waiting forever to get those honeycombs down from there. Or he can come down and feed them both and take care of them both. There's 2 pregnant women down there and one guy trying to bring food down for both of them. They're all doing their part. They're not telling each other how to do it. They're guiding each other on how to do it. So recognize the difference between somebody telling you what to do and someone showing you what to do and how to do it. Some of you are starting a new job and you're probably going to really like it if you go into that job knowing that you're there for a reason more than money. So think of it this way. In different parts of the world, people believe that we come together for specific reasons, that nothing is just, a coinky-dink. So if you're interacting with people and they have a different point of view than you, do not let them tell you what to do, but allow them to express what they see. Then apply that with your intellect for your situation. So if it's an ex, or if it's a job, or if it's your own self with your shadow self, don't do it the way other people did it. Do it the way you know to do it. Like for me right now, it's 2:15 a.m. It's 18 degrees outside and it's a Saturday, January 22nd, 2022. I should be sleeping in accordance to most people's laws of society or rules of society, right? Human beings sleep at night. I'm sitting here doing card readings. Is it wrong for anybody? No. Am I helping people? I'd like to think so. Are people judging me for it? Probably. Do I care? Not really. Am I aware of it? Absolutely. Do I see how society functions with or without me? Absolutely. Am I basing my life and my day to day choices based on what they're doing or thinking? Absolutely not. Because they're not here with me right now at 2 in the morning, making me coffee or something to eat or whatever. No, I'm doing that. So why should I care what someone else tells me on how to battle my serpents? Whether they even need to be battled or not. I mean, for all we know, she's doing this because the moment that snake eats its own tail, it creates a new snake. And she's like, "Come on, kiddo, you gotta renew yourself." And the snake's like, "No, I don't like it. I like being this old crackly skin." And this lady's like, "No, you gotta reshed that skin and redo it all over again." And then these people are looking at her like, "Is that bitch crazy trying to feed a snake to itself?" But they don't realize that it's a magical snake and that you're a goddess or a god. They don't see that. They have their own problems. They have their own children. They have their own issues. That one even has nipple tassels. Oh my God, these Gemini readings, I swear to God, they are the only sign in the entire zodiac that I ever do that they come up with this and then it's still funny. Darlings, when the entire world is doing this and telling you to do this, it's perfectly okay for you to be doing this instead. Because God put you here to do that. God didn't put you here to do that or that. If God put you here to do these things, you'd be doing those things. But if you're doing this right here and right now, then that's what you're meant to be doing. Or you'd be doing that, right? So if we go back to the previous cards in the reading, why have self-judgment over what you're doing when the divine is simply asking you to enjoy what you're doing instead? It's your path. It's your path. Others may walk with you, ahead of you, or behind you, but regardless of where they're walking, their voices and their choices should not affect where your feet and your hands go. You should never give anybody that much power, ever. I mean, unless you're a mother raising a toddler, you should not be telling people how to, like, guidance and commands are different. So you need to walk away from something within your life, whether it's within you or as someone around you. Do not base that choice on what other people tell you. It doesn't matter if it's an ex, it doesn't matter if it's a boss, it doesn't matter if it's the country you're in or the home you're in or the neighborhood you're in or the foods you eat or the addictions you have. It doesn't matter. It's your body, it's your life. You know what affects you positively, you know what helps you, you know what raises your vibration. So, and you also know what doesn't. So if you're walking and riding away from something, make certain that it's not because you're unhappy by yourself, because those two kissing don't look very happy. He looks happy. He looks like a freaking pervert, but her hands are not touching him. Her hands are behind and she's holding herself to that chair. What does that mean, right? Making a decision regardless of what's happening to you physically to get yourself out of a situation you didn't want to be in. It's like choosing the devil you know over the devil you don't know to get yourself out of a situation. But the key here is you don't need the devil you know or the devil you don't know. You have the power to do it yourself. Other people have influenced you and caused so much conflict around you to get you to go in a different direction. So don't look at the conflict in your life as if like you have to fight through it. Go the other way. If you find a mountain in the way, don't try to smash the mountain or, climb the mountain. Find the path of least resistance. If there is something you need to be doing that you're afraid of doing, let go of that fear as much as you can. I mean, you're never going to be free of fear. Really, nobody is. It's a survival mechanism. It's a strand of common sense in a way. So instead of trying to diminish and destroy fear, acknowledge it and then bring bravery and courage into the situation and find the path of least resistance. Bruce Lee said it too. Be like the water, my friend. Be like the water. Go the way that isn't resisted. If there's a mountain, don't look at it as an obstacle. Look at it as the road curving. If there's something in a tree you want and you need to create a path to climb to that tree, then ask for help and work in a team. If that team doesn't want to work with you, fuck them. Go somewhere else. Don't force yourself to be in situations just because you think it's what's needed. Because all you need is you and God. And once you have that connection, things just fall into your lap. Believe it or not, they just happen miraculously. That's why they're called miracles. Queen of Cups and the King of Wands. Some of you have, the Queen of Cups was in reverse. Some of you have allowed your emotions to be influenced by other people regarding who you want to be with. There he is again. And who you want to be with, that person in a way wants to be with you too, but they don't want to be with you while you're covered in other people's energy. They're waiting for you to be in your own energy, to claim your own power and to claim dominion over your world and to know what value you bring, not only to yourself, but to the world as well. There's only one of you. And look at that. The snake here that she's either trying to like unravel. Maybe the snake was eating itself. And then she's like, no, don't eat yourself. That's so silly. Because she's trying to unravel it into this. And the entire time that you've been trying to unravel this like weird energy, I don't even know what to call it. Like, why would you eat your own tail and then say, ow, it hurts, If you stop listening to other people telling you what to do with your shadow side, and you actually embrace that shadow side of you, then you don't need this fool. You don't need to sell your body or, your work or whatever. You can just swim across yourself. Maybe a dolphin will show up and carry you across, or the butterflies will be there and be like, hey, let's just lift you up and go out of here. Maybe these are your best friends and one of them is going to show up and say, I love you so much. And you're like, whoa, 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 whoa. What do you mean you love me? And he's like, I've been waiting for you to figure out who you are and blah, blah, blah. And you're like, I'm just trying to find peace, But what you don't realize is you've already moved forward so much. You just couldn't see it because all these other nitwits were causing a ruckus around you. And they were causing that ruckus because the divine was guiding them to do so that you would move away from that energy towards the energy of yourself in harmony with yourself, so that you can be a good father or mother, a good husband or a good wife, maybe tonight, maybe tomorrow, maybe a year from now, whenever. But these moments in your life are there to prepare you. And if we get stuck, then this never comes. This never happens. And we sit there like this trying to figure out which one goes to which hand. I hope that makes sense for you in whatever way it needs to for your highest and greatest good. Gemini, really check your friends. Check your surroundings, check your I couldn't have said it better myself. Saint Bridget, Our Lady of the Exalted Light. I give endlessly because the light is without end. My soul is all I need. You are the light. Do not let others put a light bulb in that light when that light is fueled by the fires within you. That oil in that lamp is the wisdom you gain from the pain and tears and sweat you suffered. That body that you're in was caused by millennia of chaos, millennia of ancestors, thousands of tears and people loving and crying and dying and living to make who you are now. If you cannot give yourself that exalted dignity, then every person you meet is going to try to take that light. You see how that looks like a skull, kind of? When you find the light, even within death, nothing can harm you. Nothing can touch you. Nothing can even get close to you. When you recognize the pattern of life, that even the chaos and the obstructions and the obstacles aren't there to hurt you. They're there to show you which way to go next. It's like a detour sign when you're driving down the street and the street says, oh, this path is closed. And you're like, oh, shit, I need to get to work. Well, this is open right here. You can kind of get through that right there. You can go around it and over it. Why be mad about the block here when you can look at it in a playful way? Playfulness is a spiritual power. Laughter leads me back to the light. If you cannot look at life in this way, then everything's going to seem like an obstacle and a burden, isn't it? But if you can look at it playfully, then someone going like this is just going to make you go, hey, nice to meet you, in a playful, childlike kind of way. When people show up with their wands in your face, you're probably going to bedazzle them, because playfulness. When a nitwit tries to get all up in your space, you're probably going to like push him off the boat instead of even argue with him. Get off that boat. I'm going over there. You know, there's a time and place for conflict. There's a time and place for defensiveness. And there's a time and place to just revel in your glory. Let them all think what they want. Let them do what they want. You have your own things to do. And the things that you're involved in for your path that are meant for you require you to be one with your soul and to be your own high priestess. So for some of you, it could be like, getting advice from a bunch of different people, but those people are on multiple different timelines and they've been raised in multiple different societies and ethnicities, and their way, their lineage, their legacy has taught them differently. It's kind of like seeing an Anunnaki and then seeing a gray alien. We cannot demonize one over the other. They're both different forms of life. They've both learned different things. They both have different wisdom. They both have different downfalls. What we can do is communicate and learn from each other instead of fighting each other. Her arrows aren't even in the bow. Her arrows are off into the ethers. The butterflies are dancing around and she's happy. Even in the face of conflict, she knows she's ready. All she needs to do is fire one shot, one word, one action, one moment of silence, and then dance your way again. It's as if you're being asked to elevate your mannerisms to a more goddess-like status instead of a mortal man or woman. That way your ancestor, your authenticity will shine through for generations to come. They'll say, oh, remember grandma or grandpa so-and-so in the year 2022 when all that crazy shit was going on? And they sat there doing, writing poetry, or they sat there reading tarot cards, or they went and fed the birds in the park, or They started growing gardens and empty lots in, neighborhoods. Do something that's more authentic to you, not what you think people need, not what you think other people want, but what you are happy doing. What brings you a smile? What has you feeling playful? I mean, I personally love plants. Whenever I go any store, I'm always looking for a plant section for like plants. It brings me happiness seeing them grow and like bring new leaves, seeing the birds outside, hearing their song, seeing the different patterns in nature, seeing children laugh and play, creating things that bring peace and wisdom to people and help them lead their own path. Each of us has a different way. Each of us have learned how to deal with things differently. Don't let me tell you how to deal with your grief. But when I'm telling you something and God's telling you something through me, take it with a grain of salt and apply it to your life as if your life is a dish and I'm presenting to you a new ingredient that would change the flavor of your dish to something more pleasurable for you. But it's your choice to add it or not, or to add a certain amount or not. So think of life that way for a few days, maybe, and what you hear and what you see, instead of clinging to it in a way where you're trying to make it happen. Like, I see so many people in certain other channels in their chat rooms, and they're usually worried about, is he coming back? Is she coming back? Are they cheating? Are they this? Will my business take off? Will this person do this? Am I dying because of this? you know? And really, you already have all the answers yourself. You just can't see the answers because of the Five of Wands energy and the Seven of Cups energy, which is usually, in most cases, brought on by other people in your life and their opinions. So, what I do when I get overwhelmed by other people's input or just sensory overload from being in the world and seeing and feeling all the other people, I take a nice warm bath. I drink a good cold glass of milk sometimes with some honey in it. It tastes so good. Uh, Flowers, essential oils, drawing, writing, playing video games, smoking marijuana is fucking amazing for people who are spiritually inclined, because the vibration of that plant, when ingested or inhaled, how do I explain this to you? It's kind of like a neutralizing agent in your chemical composition. It releases certain, I don't know what the English word is, things in your body, chemicals, hormones, whatever, that bring your frequency to that of that plant. So if you're having a like constant dark nights of the soul, most people, you'll notice that when most people, when they're sad and they smoke, they start laughing. But if somebody's having a really good day already and then they smoke, it kind of elevates them and then it brings them down a little, doesn't it? It's not that it's bringing them down, it's that it's balancing them back, and the frequency that they're going to, the Hertz frequency, Hertz frequency that it's bringing the person back down to, is that of the baseline frequency of yourself. So it's kind of like how people drink to avoid their emotions, but when you smoke that plant, you can't avoid your emotions. You can't avoid your problems. It simply brings in an air of playfulness and clarity. I don't know if some of you have smoked it or not, but there's a moment where the mind becomes coherent. It's like the left and right side of the brain kind of connect in a moment of peace, and then that's when they say they have the stoner thoughts and they're like, oh my god. Well, that's because you can see clearly, And then when that effect wears off, things become clouded again, which is odd because when the smoke clears, the cloudiness begins. Whereas when you smoke, it clears the cloudiness and brings in clarity with that smoke. Similarly, it's like burning sage in an apartment or a house that has a lot of negative energy in it, and the smoke from that sage clears the negative energy, but it's smoke, you know? So if you are drinking a lot of alcohol, maybe try to flip it to something more natural and brought to you by the earth instead of something fermented. Because if you're drinking fermented things that aren't like pickles and all that stuff that are good for your gut flora, you're ingesting that energy and you're fermenting what you're attempting to remove. You're preserving it with that alcohol. You're not cleaning it out of you, you're preserving it into you. Whereas when you smoke something, or when you go bathe in the sunlight, or you take a warm bath, or you do candle gazing, or consciously clearing the energy in your home with frankincense and stuff, you're utilizing the energy of chaos in a way: fire, smoke, plants, destruction, life, death, with the intent of creation of peace. So somebody can smoke, a ton of marijuana every freaking day and live in a daydream, and most of the time it does nothing for them. Whereas somebody takes one puff and they're like, oh, thank you, that's all I need. Now I can go continue to work, in between their lunch breaks or whatever. It all depends on how you use it and what your intent is. And as long as you are your authentic self and you are in a vibration that is as close to you and your God as you can be, then no matter what you do, no weapon formed against you shall prosper, right? So why would you think that something you're ingesting is a weapon? We must in some way remove the beliefs of society regarding alcohol and different things and see how they affect us on a personal level. Some people really do great with drinking wine with dinner, like in Italy. Like a glass of red wine a day is really good for your heart. A bottle of red wine a day really isn't. Smoking a joint of marijuana a day usually is really good and kind of beneficial, especially for spiritual people, because it resets the energetic field. Just like saging and stuff, but you're saging the inside of you. But overdoing it creates procrastination to a point where you miss opportunities. So find that balance within you, find what works for you, and then don't let people stand in your way and influence you on what you know brings you happiness, which is different from somebody seeing that you're hurting yourself or hurting others and they're like, hey, this is some advice regarding this. That's totally different. What Source is talking to you about here is your perception of what society wants you to be doing and not doing. That's society's bullshit. Your bullshit is for you to clean up and for you to figure out what happened to create that bullshit. Okay? I hope that helps. Let me get you one of these guidance-y, whatever, whatchamajiggy grace cards. Did I just say whatchamajiggy? Gemini energy. Step into the light. You are a gift to the world. You think someone that can do that cares about what anybody in those trees or in those cities down there or whatever they are cares? If you could do that, would you care about what anyone else in the universe says? No, right? You'd be busy doing that. Well, you're not doing that right now because you're busy caring what everyone else says. When we marry intention with action, miracles happen. Check what you believe and make certain that what you're believing is helping you shine and elevating you, so that other people can see how you're elevating and they can elevate themselves. But if you're believing what other people are whispering into your ear to keep you from that, then your eyes will always be closed while theirs remain open, observing you. When we feel overly attached to an outcome, it's simply an indication that we need to reconnect with our wise self. This is why all the time, nature gives us tools. Plants, trees, tree bark, herbs, food supply things like apples, oranges, berries, melons, root vegetables, crystals, mountains, trees. Nature gives us everything we need. It's up to us to utilize it properly or to utilize it the way other people have told us to do it. It's up to you. The halo around your head is your halo. It's not anyone else's. It doesn't matter if it was formed with a bottle of wine or a bottle of marijuana. It doesn't matter if you were waiting for someone to love you or if someone's waiting for you. First and foremost, to thine own self be true and follow your own path, because you have no idea what your destiny holds for you. Some other people do, or they think they do. So don't believe what they say. You see that? In every belief, there is a lie. Do not be that lie. I love you, Geminis. Your reading for right now is done. Please take a moment to drink some water, stretch, and thank you for clicking like on these videos, because YouTube really seems to measure a channel's worth in being recommended and elevated by the amount of interaction a channel gets and not by the actual content of the channel, which is why there are some channels who are completely absurd that have like 10 million, subscribers or whatever, and they post pictures of like cartoons. But what do they have? They have a bunch of people on their channels clicking like, comment, and subscribe. So thank you for clicking like and commenting, even with a smiley or an emoji, after the video's done. And if you want the book I wrote and the series I'm writing, it's called The Scribe and the Star, Chapter 1 on Amazon. And the rest are being written and published within the year, or for the rest of my life. I'm going to be writing these books. So get in on the first editions while you can, because there's going to be, guys, you have no idea what I'm planning. Take care of yourselves. I love you.